So we're back with Daggerheart. It looks like we're sort of read this bit yesterday, and it looked like we were looking at character options. So yeah, it looks like they're recommending a session 0, which, fine. Before you begin your character building, review the materials, and formulate an idea. Concept can be surface level in general, but having even a basic starting point will help you make choices as you move through the steps. The first step of character creation is to choose the class you want to play. Each is a role-based archetype that determines what abilities you have access to throughout the campaign. For example, you might choose to play a guardian if you want to be the tank of your group, runs into fights headfirst and protects others with their own life. You might choose to be a wizard if you want to cast unique spells to solve problems, heal party members, and wield cunning battle magic. Once you've chosen a class, you'll also choose a subclass. The subclasses are subsets of each class that further define your character's archetype. So yeah, I did notice that going through the ability cards yesterday. Yeah, so it looks like, at least in this core book, each class has 2 subclasses. These look like all pretty standard classes, except just kind of renaming, like Seraph and Guardian for more typical. We'll just read a couple of these subclasses. So for Druid, we've got the Warden of the Elements, or the Warden of Renewal. So it looks sort of like more elemental druid, or one more focused on healing. For the Seraph, you've got the Winged Sentinel. Take flight and strike crushing blows from the sky, or Divine Wielder. Looks like you're focused on it. That seems an interesting choice to build a subclass around. Then you've got legendary weapon. Once you've chosen your class, grab the corresponding character sheet and character guide, then decide on a subclass and take that subclass's foundation card. Character sheet is recording characters' details, so make sure you have paper or digital copies available. Customized character sheets and character guides are available for download. The general character sheet is also in the appendix. And, I do appreciate it. As you saw yesterday, they gave you a whole notepad of character sheets, which is nice, but it is a bit overkill from what you normally get. Characters in Daggerheart start at level 1. Record your level in the appropriate section at the top of your character sheet, and make sure to change it every time you level up. Recommend starting your campaign at level 1, but more experienced table can start at a higher level if you would prefer. It's just saying, make sure you have a name, but it doesn't matter if you do it first or as you've got a more cohesive idea of your character. Every class begins with a unique class feature, or several. You don't have to write these features down, they're provided at the bottom left of each class's character sheet. These are features available only to your class. If your class feature asks you to make a selection during character creation, make it before your first session. Characters' ancestry reflects their lineage, impacting their physicality and granting them 2 unique features. Take the card for one of the following ancestries, then write its name in the heritage field of your character sheet. And it looks like there'll be a more in detail section on that. At a glance, it mostly seems like what you would expect. The frog creatures, that seems a bit on their nose, but that's fine. Next, you'll choose a community. Your character's community is influenced by its physical location, values, and goals. It informs the culture your character grew up in and might play a part in the way they look, act, or approach situations. Each community comes with a feature that you can utilize during the game. Take the card for one of the following communities, then write its name. You're not asked to pick specific languages. This assumes that everyone speaks a common language, although, fudge it. You can come up with a means if your character might not necessarily be exposed to it. And then, it's just saying for additional languages, just come up with it at the table, which I guess that's fine. I don't know, because, that's fine. I think you have to really work at it to make it sort of compelling and interesting anyways. Otherwise, it just, it's just, you found an old book in an old language. Do you know that oh no. So that seems fine, I guess. Character traits. These values reflect natural or trained ability in each of the core 6 stats. So I'm not sure if they mentioned that before. So they are a bit different. You've got your agility, strength, a finesse, instinct, presence, and knowledge. Um, each trait lists verbs that show the types of actions a character might perform that involve that trait. These examples are just inspiration. They shouldn't limit how each trait can be used. Agility, sprint, leap, maneuver. High agility means you're fast on your feet, nimble on difficult terrain, and quick to react to danger. You make an agility roll to scurry up a rope, sprint to cover, or bound from rooftop to rooftop. Strength, lift, smash, grapple. High strength means you're better at feats that test your physical prowess and stamina. You make a strength roll to break through a door, lift heavy objects, or hold ground against a charging foe. Finesse. Control, hide, tinker. High finesse means you're skilled at tasks that require accuracy, stealth, or the utmost control. You'll make a finesse roll to use fine tools, escape notice, or strike with precision. Instinct. Perceive, sense, navigate. A high instinct means you have a keen sense of your surroundings and natural intuition. You make an instinct roll to sense danger, notice details in the world around you, or track an elusive foe. Presence, charm, perform, deceive. A high presence means you have a strong force of personality and a facility for social situations. You'll make a presence roll to plead your case, intimidate a foe, or capture the attention of a crowd. Knowledge. Recall, analyze, comprehend. High knowledge means you know information others don't, and understand how to apply your mind through deduction and inference. You'll make a knowledge roll to interpret facts, see the patterns, or remember important information. Now, let's see. Didn't think. I did see the stand was low. I thought I had it charged after the last time it had sort of done that. But I guess, well, it does appear to be charging off of the power bank this time, so we'll give it a minute. Let's see. So that was kind of an interest. So it looks like they got rid of stamina and replaced it with that finesse stat. But aside from like the naming conventions, is all pretty standard, it turned out, it looks like. Additional character information. Your character's evasion reflects how hard it is to hit. Starting evasion appears right beneath the evasion field on your character sheet. We might Yeah. We'll go ahead and skip to creating a background. Since the rest of this looks pretty standard. Starting your character's background by answering the background questions in your character guide. Several prompts are provided to jumpstart inspiration, but you or the GM can modify or replace these to fit the character you're looking to play. The prompts are a jumping off point if you don't know where to start, but they should never inhibit your creativity. The decisions you make about your character's background are purely narrative, but they deeply impact the character you're playing and the story the GM is preparing for your adventures. Over the course of character creation, feel free to adjust mechanical choices you made in earlier steps to better reflect this background as you shape your character. If you're planning to play in a campaign, you can continue developing your character after the background questions in whatever way works for you. You can also choose not to do more background work, instead finding out more about your character as you play, leading into a process that's fun for you. Well, it's still not wanting to turn back on. In Daggerheart, your character's experiences are of the core ways you express their backstory and expertise through mechanics. An experience is a word or phrase used to encapsulate a specific set of skills your character has acquired over the course of their exciting life. Character starts with 2 experiences at character creation, each with a +2 modifier, and they'll earn more throughout your adventure. Before creating experiences, you'll want to have a solid idea of who your character is. The background questions are especially helpful for this. When you're ready, work with your GM to create 2 experiences that have shaped your character. There's no set list of experiences to choose from, though we offer options for inspiration under experience examples. Instead, find a word or phrase that embodies something distinctive about your character. Each experience should be specific. For example, talented or focused are too broad, as they can be applied to almost any situation. Instead, you might use swashbuckler or magic studies. Additionally, your character's experience can't give them spells or specific game abilities. For example, take flight or one-hit kill are too mechanically oriented. You might consider pilot or assassin instead. You're encouraged to add flavor to your character's experience to give it more varied use in play. For example, instead of just assassin, you could choose assassin of the Sapphire Syndicate. Details like this give your GM an exciting faction to weave into the campaign, and also make it easier to use this experience outside of combat. For example, if your character encounters an ally of the Syndicate, they might be particularly adept at negotiating with that NPC based on their experience. Once you've decided on your character's 2 starting experiences, record them in the experience fields of your character sheet and assign +2 to both. So on the example table, some backgrounds: chef to the royal family, circus performer, runaway, storyteller, world traveler. Characteristics: affable, charming, friend to all, lone wolf, prankster, sticky fingers, young and naive. Some specialities: acrobat, healer, master of disguise, swashbuckler, or tactician. I don't think some of those specialities. I don't think that's really great examples since I think a lot of those like gambler, healer, inventor, those all kind of blend in with different backgrounds. But I guess you could use it as a background or use it as a speciality. Skills: animal whisperer, fast learner, liar, photographic memory, quick hands. Okay. When one of your character's experiences fits a situation at hand, you can use that experience to showcase their expertise. Before you make an action or reaction roll, you can spend a hope to add the experience's modifier to the roll's result. Sometimes more than one of your character's experiences is a good fit for the situation. If it fits the story, you can add more than one experience modifier to a roll, spending a hope for each. Your character has the opportunity to gain new experiences as they level. However, if you discover that your character has outgrown a previous experience or doesn't feel right anymore, you're not stuck with the ones you already chose. For example, that's fine. Work to find experiences that better align with your storytelling goals and with the actions your characters would be good at. Domains are the core building blocks of Daggerheart's classes. The following domains are included in this book: Arcana, Blade, Bone, Codex, Grace, Midnight, Sage, Splendor, and Valor. Each domain has a domain deck of cards containing abilities and spells with a central theme or focus. For details on what each domain represents and how to use your domain cards, each class in Daggerheart is formed by combining two of these domains. For example, the warrior class comprises Blade and Bone, the druid comprises Arcana and Sage, the rogue comprises Midnight and Grace. This combination is noted at the top of the character sheet for each class, and the colors and symbols are found on the subclass foundation card. To start, look at all the level 1 cards from your class's 2 domains and choose 2 cards, returning the rest to their decks. You can take 1 from each domain or 2 from a single domain, whichever you prefer. These cards grant you special spells and abilities. You'll choose another card each time you level up. Each class shares its domains with at least one other class. For example, Blade is shared by the Guardian and the Warrior. Sage by the Druid and Ranger, Grace, Bard, and Rogue. If a fellow player's class has the same domain as yours, we encourage you to coordinate with them and choose different cards from that domain deck, even if your group has multiple copies. This way, each player feels distinct and shines when they bring their unique abilities to the story. However, feel free to make an exception. Sharing cards is common when more than one player chooses the same class or when 3 or more players share the same domain. As always, it comes down to open communication. If you need extra copies of a card, you can download and print them at home. You've almost finished creating your character. Now it's time to forge their connections. These represent the relationships and personal history between your character and their fellow party members. Once your group is comfortable with their finished PCs, summarize your characters for each other. Feel free to include any details you'd like the other players to know, and work together to decide how your characters are connected and how they feel about each other. Connection section of your character guide provides inspiration. We recommend you pick at least one question to ask another player for their character to answer, but you're welcome to create new questions. You can always turn down a question or relationship suggested by another player if it's not a good fit or not a relationship you're interested in exploring. While it's great to create connections with every character, it's perfectly okay if you're not sure about some of them yet. You can always discover your relationships through play. These connections are a starting point to build on during the game. After the party's connections are complete, you're ready to play. Then an example sheet. Domains are the core themes of each class. The combination of 2 domains forms the basis for each class's abilities and spells, which you gain from your domain cards. Near the end of character creation, you'll pick your first cards from your chosen class's domains. Kana is the domain of innate and instinctual magic. Those who choose this path tap into the raw, enigmatic forces of the realms to manipulate both their own energy and the elements. Arcana offers wielders a volatile power, but it is incredibly potent when correctly channeled. Blade is the domain of weapon mastery, whether by steel bow or perhaps a more specialized arm. Those who follow this path have the skill to cut short the lives of others. Wielders of Blade dedicate themselves to achieving inexorable power over death. Bone is the domain of tactics in the body. Practitioners of this domain have an uncanny control over their own physical abilities and an eye for predicting the behaviors of others in combat. Adherents to Bone gain an unparalleled understanding of bodies and their movements. Codex is the domain of intensive magical study. Those who seek magical knowledge turn to the equations of power recorded in books, written on scrolls, etched into walls, or tattooed on bodies. Codex offers a commanding and versatile understanding of magic to devotees who pursue knowledge beyond the boundaries of common wisdom. Grace is the domain of charisma. Through rapturous storytelling, charming spells, or a shroud of lies, those who channel this power define the realities of their adversaries, bending perception to their will. Grace offers wielders raw magnetism and mastery over language. Midnight is the domain of shadows and secrecy. Whether by clever tricks, deaf magic, or the cloak of night, those who channel these forces practice the art of obscurity and can uncover sequestered treasures. Midnight offers practitioners the power to control and create enigmas. Sage is the domain of the natural world. Those who walk this path tap into the unfettered power of the earth and its creatures to unleash raw magic. Sage grants its adherents the vitality of a blooming flower and the ferocity of a ravenous predator. Splendor is the domain of life. Through this magic, followers gain the ability to heal and an extent control over death. Splendor offers its disciples the magnificent ability to both give and end life. Valor is the domain of protection, whether through attack or defense. Those who choose this discipline channel formidable strength to protect their allies in battles. Valor offers great power to those who raise their shields in defense of others. So, I guess so far this is the most interesting bit we've encountered, I think. I do like this sort of color wheel concept they have going on, and that, when they're adding more classes, they can, just like, let's say maybe we've got a Grace and a Bone class. So yeah, I do think that's interesting concept. So yeah, I guess we'll read this page and then end, and then we'll get into the actual classes themselves tomorrow. During character creation and as your characters level up, you'll gain increasingly powerful domain cards, which provide features you can utilize during your adventures. Some domain cards provide moves you can make, such as a unique attack or a spell. Others offer passive effects, which always apply while you hold that card. New abilities to use during downtime or social encounters, or even one-time benefits. So they all have a level. You can only use your level or lower. And yeah, you can only use cards from your class's domains. Recall cost. The number in Lightning Bolt in the top right of the card shows its recall cost. This doesn't affect you at character creation, but once you reach level 5, you'll have more cards than space in your loadout. Your set of 5 active cards you can normally only move an inactive card from your vault to your loadout during downtime, but you can mark a number of stress equal to a card's recall cost to swap it immediately. The type The card's type is listed in the center above the title. There are 3 types of domain cards: abilities, spells, and grimoires. Though, it looked to me like grimoires were pretty rare. And we didn't open all of them, but of the 3 we opened, well, one of them was mainly like your backgrounds and stuff, but, or specializations. Um, but there's only like a couple grimoires in the 3 packets we opened. Are unique to the codex. Okay, yeah. Grimoires are unique to the codex domain and are a collection of smaller spells bundled together. Some game mechanics only apply to certain types of cards. Feature. The text on the bottom half of the card describes its feature, including any special rules you need to follow when you use that card. So class, so each class has its own evasion, and starting hit points. Each class has a unique set of starter items, and a unique class feature. Class hope feature. Each class has a special move they can make by spending 3 hope. Your chosen subclass grants the following: Spellcraft's trait. If you're a spellcaster, this is the character trait your subclass uses anytime you make a spellcast roll. Foundation feature is a unique starting feature that establishes the identity and strengths of the subclass. Specialization. The specialization is a more advanced feature or set of features you can gain when you level up. For some subclasses, a specialization feature is a new ability. For others, it expands the abilities of the class or foundation feature, making it even more potent. Mastery is your subclass's most powerful feature. When you can gain at higher levels, for some subclasses, the mastery features unlocks an extraordinary new ability. For others, it's the impressive culmination of their subclass's core feature. Foundation, specialization, and mastery features each come with a card that you can choose to take as one of the benefits from leveling up. The cards hold information about the feature for quick reference. Following class sections refer to many mechanics and terms that will be taught throughout Chapter 2. Use this index to navigate to those concepts as needed. So yeah, that'll... Well, let's do one class now since we have that sort of breakdown in mind. So bards are the most charismatic people in all the realms. Members of this class are masters of captivation and specialize in a variety of performance types, including singing, playing musical instruments, weaving tales, or telling jokes. Whether performing for an audience or speaking to an individual, bards thrive in social situations. Members of this profession bond and train at schools or guilds. The current of egotism runs through those of the bardic persuasion. While they may be the most likely class to bring people together, a bardaville temper can just as easily tear a party apart. Domains, Grace and Codex, starting evasion 10, hit points 5. Class items. A romance novel or a letter never opened. Bard's Hope feature. Make a scene, spend 3 hope to temporarily distract a target within close range, giving them a -2 penalty to their difficulty. Rally. Once per session, describe how you rally the party and give yourself and each of your allies a rally dice. Level 1, your rally dice is a d6. PC can spend their rally die to roll it adding the result to their action, reaction, or damage roll, or to clear a number of stress equal to the result. At the end of each session, clear all unspent rally dice. At level 5, your rally die increases to a d8. So subclasses, the Troubadour or the Wordsmith. The Troubadour gets presence for a spellcast trait. Their foundation feature is Gifted Performer. Describe how you perform for others. You can play each song once per long rest. So you can do relaxing, epic, or heartbreaking song. Relaxing, clear a hit point, which I'm not sure what that means. I mean, I guess you get a hit point back. Yeah. Epic makes a target within close range vulnerable, and heartbreaking, all allies in close range gain a hope. Specialization feature, Maestro. Your rallying songs steal the courage of those who listen. When you give a rally die to an ally, they can gain a hope or clear a stress. Of Mastery, Virtuoso. You're among the greatest of your craft, and your skill is boundless. You can perform each of your gifted performer features twice instead of once per long rest. Wordsmith. Play the Wordsmith if you want to use clever wordplay and captivate crowds. Their trait is also presence. Foundation features. Rousing speech. Once per long rest, you can give a heartfelt, inspiring speech. All allies within far range clear 2 stress. Heart of a Poet. After you make an action roll to impress, persuade, or offend someone, you can spend a hope to add a d4 to the roll. Their specialization is Eloquent. Your moving words boost morale. Once per session, when you encourage an ally, you can do one of the following. Allow them to find a mundane object or tool they need. Help an ally without spending code. Give them an additional downtime move during their next rest. And Mastery, your rally die increases to a d10. Additionally, when you help an ally, you can narrate the moment as if you're writing the tale of their heroism in a memoir. When you do, roll a d10 as your advantage die. So, some background questions for Bard. Some example background questions. Who from the community taught you to have such confidence in yourself? You were in love once. Who did you adore, and how did they hurt you? You've always looked up to another bard. Who are they, and why do you idolize them? Connections. What made you realize we were going to be such good friends? What do I do that annoys you? and why do you grab my hand at night? Okay, that's an interesting last one. So yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Kind of interested to see their takes on the other classes. The Bard was certainly an interesting one. So yeah, we'll probably be back with this tomorrow. But that's it for today.